All right, everyone, welcome to our Thursday night series in the iNRS Racing Series. And you guessed it, it's Memorial Day weekend eve, and we are at Charlotte Motor Speedway for the Coca-Cola 300 as part of the 2025 iNRS Racing Series. Thanks for tuning in to the IWM Broadcast Network. I'm Rick Souza here with my co-broadcaster, Jeff Neely, and I think Noah Evans will join us at some point tonight. We have got a fun-filled event tonight, and I am looking forward to it.
I'll say it's always interesting when these guys get on the mile and a halves. They're called cookie cutter tracks, but they drive differently. Each track drives differently than another mile and a half track, and these guys have their work cut out for them. There's some bumps here. It's a fast track. They're doing laps sub 30 seconds. So they're moving along pretty good. I went out and took a couple laps before we started the broadcast, and wish I was racing tonight, Rick. It'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, Charlotte is, and especially on the iRacing series and platform, Charlotte is one of the first tracks of its size that the drivers get to experience. Of course, it's in a different in an ARCA car, but this is where they cut their teeth as they move up through the ranks here on the iRacing platform. But it also happens to be one of the most fun tracks to drive as a driver. As you said, Jeff, it's got its little idiosyncrasies of bumps and grooves and seams, and the shape of the front stretch makes for a wild ride, and it never disappoints.
That's for sure. They get three wide sometimes on that front stretch, and gets a little crowded in that dogleg.
Absolutely, and we've seen it many times, whether it's here on the iRacing or in real life when you see that on Saturdays and Sundays of those drivers there, they'll get bumped, or they'll just wind up running through the grass. It makes for an exciting race. You can see right now we're looking at a number of drivers still in practice. There's still 3 minutes left in practice, but yeah, we've seen some fast times. You're going to also see some pretty good-looking cars, a lot of drivers. It is Memorial Day weekend, so there's a lot of patriotic themes out there, so we'll look at those as well.
We've got, let's see, about 3 minutes left in practice. We're going to go into a 5-minute qualifying session where each driver will get 2 laps to lay down their best time. Then they'll have a 5-minute warm-up / drivers meeting where race control will talk through with the drivers what's going to happen tonight, what things look like, remind them of a few rules, different things like that. And then we will get started to run 200 laps tonight, 300 miles.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's going to be a long one. So since we're talking about race information, let's go ahead and see that is Lucas Portman.
You were talking about somebody going through the grass, how easy it is, and we just saw it right there.
Yeah, and this track does double duty. You've got the oval that's there. There's also a small section of the track that's used by the Legends cars and the Roval. So there's lots of interesting characteristics to this track. But speaking of the race, here we go. Charlotte is just under a mile and a half at 1.45. It is warm. It's 104 degrees on the track. As Jeff said, we've got 200 laps. This league does not have any quick repairs, so you've got to get around and keep your equipment safe, especially on 200 laps. Pit road speed is 45, which when you're dropping out of 3 and then in on 4 to get down and get woed up, that 45 can bite you really easily. Saw lots of black flags last night for speeding on pit road in our Tech for Troops series on Wednesday nights. They do have 3 sets of tires and 75% fuel, and as always, there's 3 green, white checker finishes that are available if we need them.
Yeah, it's going to be a good race tonight. I'm really looking forward to this one. Charlotte, as you were saying earlier, is one of the first tracks that you get to drive on when you join iRacing for the first time. And I have been to several races there at that track, and so I was really excited to get to drive on it when I first started iRacing, and it has never disappointed. They've had an update to the track since then. They have the billboard, I forget the name of it, on the backstretch, but it's just a great track, great facility all around.
Yeah, that's that massive screen, and you'll see it just even that in this wide shot of the whole track. You can see that giant billboard on the back. It is that large in real life. It is massive on the
It is.
backstretch.
I think it's like 200 feet wide. That's mind-boggling. But when you stand next to it, you really you're just dwarfed by the size.
Well, practices finishing up. We've got, based on the entries, we have at least 28 drivers who are entered into tonight's event. We do see sometimes some attritions on these holiday weekends where folks are not always available, but still, anytime you have over 20 drivers on a track like this, it can prove to be challenging.
Absolutely. Yeah, it looks like there's a good turnout tonight. As you can see, all the stick figures and animated folks in the stands. iRacing does such a good job at making this look so real. Sometimes it just it boggles the mind.
All right, so we'll try to catch up with a driver that is qualifying. Let's pick and choose. Let's grab Mr. Richard Mills here and see if we can pick him up as he runs his qualifying. Now, as we're watching one driver, the thing with iRacing is that means all the drivers are qualifying right now at the same time. So as we see Richard, we'll also try to get some information as to the best time. So once we can bring up, once these laps begin to count, there we go, times will begin to populate. Now here at Charlotte, it's lap number 2 that's your fast lap.
Jacob Mossau turned a 30.2 on his first lap. Let's see where he comes in on his second.
Yeah, this hot track is kind of keeping those speeds down. The event last night at this same track was run in the evening, and qualifying speeds were like in the 29.6, 29.5, 30. So change that temperature certainly affects the overall performance. And if you're looking on the tower and the crawl and you see a driver with red behind their name, they're highlighted in red, that's because that driver has qualified for the playoffs.
Oh yeah, times are getting a little bit faster. John Ledger turned in a 30.1. Now Austin Wheeler is a 30.1, but he's 4/1000ths of a second faster than John Ledger. That's less than the blink of an eye for sure.
Yeah, Austin Wheeler's put up a great time. Just 5/1000ths with those two drivers, but qualifying has got just about 2 minutes left. Number of drivers still on track. Let's see if we can pick up somebody else. That's Shane Trotter. Hometown is Asheboro, North Carolina. That's about, that's about 30 minutes from the track.
Yeah.
You have to give him that local boy. And just like that.
Oh, yep.
Jordan Booth puts up a smoking by 3/1000th.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Not surprised. Looks like Mr. Drew just wild ride. The 59 looks like he's got a little bit of damage on that car. He'll try to start that qualifying effort all over again if he's got time. There is about 1 minute 15 seconds left in qualifying.
Garrett Walden in that 43 we're watching right now.
Now he's also a Carolina boy. He's in Hendersonville. That's about an hour and a half west of the Charlotte Motor Speedway.
And he put himself in the top 5 so far.
Yeah, that was
ran
his
a 30.2.
Yep, that was his second lap. Just a great ride for him. Ron Fitting, I think, is still on track, trying to do something there.
Yeah, he bettered himself by 1 spot, moved up to 23rd. We have 26 cars that have qualified now.
And qualifying is just 15 seconds away. And as Jeff had indicated, we've got about a 5-minute drivers meeting that will take place after qualifying finishes up right about now. And then we'll get the official starting grid once that's completed. All right, so while while we're waiting for those drivers to kind of finish up and do their thing, we can kind of talk about keys to tonight's race.
Yeah, the first key to the race tonight is long run speed. When you've got 200 laps, 300 miles to get through, you're going to have some long green flag runs. So you've got to have your car working on those long runs. A lot of times you'll find a car that's maybe better on a short run than a long run. Tonight is the night to have that long run speed.
Absolutely. And secondly, there's going to be pit strategy. We need to double check our spelling. Our pit strategy for tonight. It's just like that. We talked about long run speed, but coupled with that is going to be how you pit, how you manage your time. If you stretch it out to the max, you're going to be just shy of 50 laps or so, depending on how it all plays out, especially under green flag, which does consume more fuel per tank. So obviously 200 laps, you can do that with 3 stops, but it never works out just like that. So how you divide up that time is really going to be up to the driver and their pit crew.
Yep, and the third key tonight is attrition. Long race. These guys don't run this many laps most of the time. So a couple things, taking care of your tires and just taking care of your car so it will make the distance, but also yourself. You've got to be able to maintain your concentration, your focus for the entire 200 laps. So attrition is going to play a big role tonight.
Absolutely. You've got to protect your car, protect your equipment, and as you indicated, protect yourself. You're going to be strapped into your rig for, could be a couple, 2 hours, 2.5 hours. So, and especially if it goes green long runs, that's a lot of repetitive motions. You got to, pace yourself, literally, and see how it all plays out. So that's our keys to tonight's event.
Have they given us the starting order yet?
Not yet. It won't come until they go to grid up, and then we'll be able to bring that up and post it. Right now, we're just seeing some lovely shots of the Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Well, Jordan Booth, I guess it would be unofficially at this point, but he's on the provisional pole right now until they make it official. Jordan was our winner last week's race, the All-Star race from North Wilkesboro. Came home from college to run that race and then walked home with a victory. And tonight he started off on the right foot with a pole position.
Yeah, absolutely. We think that's right now. That's what we believe to be the provisional pole sitter. We'll know momentarily just what that looks like. But yeah, good to have him back out there. His competitors may be begrudging that a little bit, but it's always good. I've always enjoyed racing with those drivers who were better than me. It always taught me something. I could always find something to learn.
Yeah, absolutely. I find when I'm racing, if I go a lap down and I can keep up with the leaders for a while when I'm following them, because I can start to mimic what they do, where they lift, where they're back into the throttle, what their line is through that corner, and it makes me a better driver running with guys like that.
Absolutely. Well, we're just about 30 seconds away from the start of the grid up for tonight's event. Again, we said we've got somewhere just shy of 30 competitors here. And this has been a great series. Let's go ahead and bring up the current standings in the iNRS Racing Series. Obviously, Austin Wheeler is up there. He's been able to punch through with 4 wins this season. Corey Bunch, Lucas Gortman, Jordan Wenzel, Corey Ennis, Lucas Whitehead, and Dakota LaRue. But right there, you've got a number of other drivers, Eric Jeffers, Tyra Lemon, Jacob Musauer right there. That's your top 10. On the flip side, those drivers who are right there, sitting in 14, 15, 16, 17, they're all close. They're not that separate by a lot of points.
Absolutely. It's going to be a tight race, I think, right up till the end of the season when the playoffs begin.
All right, so it looks like the drivers are getting gridded up. Let's go ahead and bring you that starting grid. All right, there we go.
And we're starting off on pole position like we thought. You've got Jordan Booth there in that 41 machine. Austin Wheeler is in second. John Ledger in third. Jacob Mossau is in fourth. Garrett Walton fifth. Jeff Ramsdale is in sixth. Next row has Joe Mossau and Trace McDowell. Lucas Gortman and Lucas Whitehead round out the top 10.
Christopher Cash finds himself into the inside in the 11th with Ty Bostic on the outside. In 13th, Corey Ennis. And 14th is John DeRudris. 15th is Shane Trotter. Richard Mills finds himself in 16th to the outside. Scott Thomas in 17th. 18th is Austin Walton. 19th, Michael Whitley Jr. And 20th is Vince Burns.
In 21st, you've got Mike Wheel sitting alongside him in 22nd. Matt Crockett. Ron Fitting is in the next row in 23rd. Tyler Lewis in 24th. 25th is Bradley Reese, and alongside him, Dakota LaRue. And Josh Douglas, 27th, and Matt Parasini in 28th. And that rounds out the field.
It sure does. That is our field for tonight's event. And let's see if we can catch back up with the drivers. All right, we will have a stage break at lap 66. We'll do our best to freeze that order to give you an idea as who won stage points at that point. But with as we're now past the All-Star break, and as we head towards the home stretch towards the first round of the playoffs, every stage point, every lap led, all that matters. As you can see with that picture, there's lots of patriotic themes out there for tonight's event.
Yeah, I love the patriotic look when they go with those paint schemes.
All right, this is in Jordan Booth's hand on this restart. As drivers enter the Geico restart zone. We are underway here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway for the Coca-Cola 300. Already
41 and 48 staying pretty tight together there on that start coming up on lap 1 there. Up now they fall in line. Jordan Booth's in the lead with Austin Wheeler right on his bumper.
Still lots of tight racing just behind them. Still solidly 2 wide. Drivers will take this opportunity to pick up a spot or 2.
It seems like nowadays that a lot of positions are gained or lost on restarts and the start of the race. That's where guys can be aggressive, to get to the throttle a little bit quicker than the guy next to him, and it gives them a little bit of an edge.
Well, there's such parity between these cars that you need to leverage every possible way to pick up spots. It is that challenging to pass.
Yeah, for sure. And the cars are fairly identical, so it puts the vast majority of what's going on in the hands of the driver, and really that's the way they prefer it.
Now we'll see a number of lines develop here tonight where they try to run that higher line or they tend to be on the lower side. We'll see how that all plays out. And as you can see on top of the tower header, that's our stage counter to let you know when or how soon that stage break is coming up.
Cars running down that long backstretch now, going into turn 3. Coming off of 4 here can be a little tricky. As you start to angle down, it's easy to clip the grass right there where you saw the cars on that red area of the track. You get to that short straightaway there on the front stretch, and it's so easy to clip to get your left wheels on that grass strip there.
Another thing that you'll find is that the drivers have to be super careful about running and putting the left side of their car below or even on that white stripe that's there. That's where the apron meets the track, and it is very easy to upset the balance in these cars.
Absolutely. What happens is the banking changes considerably. It's abrupt how the banking changes right there. It's almost like a ledge. And when you get your tires down on that, if you go too far and get across that line, then it will, like you said, it will upset the car very much.
Just watching Jeff Ramsdell, he was running so close to that outside safer barrier, he actually rubbed on it for a couple of times. He's in that red, white, and blue 97 there. Definitely some contact. You can do that for a bit, but you just never know. But look, John Ledger from the outside challenging Jordan Booth here for the lead.
Getting a good run on that top groove. Jordan gives them enough room there.
Super tight. He's got a little bit of help behind him with the 48 of Austin Wheeler. Of course, Austin backs out a little bit there, but the 19 he's got a good line. And takes over the lead here on lap 8.
Now Jordan finds himself with Austin Wheeler coming around him there on the inside this time.
Yeah, I think that run by John Ledger may have given Jordan Booth an idea. He seems to be right there trying to follow that line. Good bit here. And as this track kind of rubbers in, we'll see how that outside line develops.
Yeah, a lot of times you'll see, seems like turns 3 and 4 sometimes will rubber in faster than 1 and 2, and you can get a good launch off of that high line to go down the front stretch.
All right, 10 laps complete. Drivers holding it together, but John Ledger, I'll tell you, if he's looking back in his rearview mirror, he is super excited to watch what's happening behind them. There's lots of contact. They're too wide, all behind him. That's nothing but help for that driver.
That's right. Let's him get a little bit of a jump. Interesting right now in the top 5, we have 3 Chevys and a Toyota and a Ford. So all manufacturers represented there. Looks like in the top 10, we've got 6 out of the 10 that are Chevys. So Chevy's making a good impression here in the first opening laps of this race. All
right, solid run by the 19 of Ledger here out up front. Jordan Booth Austin Wheeler, Jeff Ramsdale, and Lucas Whitehead. That is your top 5. Like they made up a little bit of ground, and the 41 gets around the 19 of John Ledger to take back the lead.
Sometimes those drivers will let you, if you want to put it that way, get around them, and then they kind of get some ideas from watching you, what you're doing, and then they'll trade back and come back up front again. But I don't know if Jordan Booth is doing that or not, but whatever strategy he has, so far so good.
As we talked earlier about the keys to tonight's event, one of the things we talked about was, really, that long run speed. And here we are 14 laps in. These drivers will begin to see that bloom, kind of that fresh rubber, that sticker tire kind of wear off after about 20 laps. It'll get just a little bit more difficult to make that turn. We'll see the lap times begin to fall off a little bit at that point. And they've got to just balance it. Now, the real challenge is for those drivers who are able to save their tire. Maybe not quite the fastest at the first 15 laps, but maybe for the second 30 laps, they're able to really take advantage of that.
That's one thing that's really takes a certain mindset to be able to do that. But when you're a racer, you want to go full out. You don't want to save. And when you get into these longer races like this that have the long fuel runs, you're going to have a lot of green flag long runs. So you've got to be able to have the mindset of, I got to conserve when I can. So could be that was what Jordan Booth was doing earlier too. It's hard to say, but that is we put it as a key to the race for that very reason. It's key. You have got to be able to save your tires and not have your lap times fall off as drastically as they sometimes can.
Well, and you definitely, it's a long race. There's 200 laps. We were only 17 laps in. You got to save your stuff, and you can't win it on the first lap.
Absolutely. These guys are they're all, that top 10 are all stuck together there, not bumper to bumper, but they're all staying within sight of each other, within reach of each other. You got a good pack there in the front, and then you got a little bit of a break and into that second group of drivers. But that first top 12 are all less than 2 seconds separating them, about a second and a half actually.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah, the cream will rise to the top tonight. You may get some of the guys in mid-pack that are gonna just take it easy here at first and then make a run as we get later in the race. There's still plenty of time. You're going to have guys that learn from this first run. Okay, I went too hard on my tires and it cost me, or I could have used them up a little more and still had enough to get through the fuel run. So this first 40, 50 laps is going to be a learning session. And if we stay green the whole time, probably somewhere in the neighborhood of lap 47 to 49 or 50, they'll be coming in for fuel and 4 tires, and they'll look and see what kind of tire wear they had, and then that'll give them an idea what they need to do on the next 50 laps.
All right, 20 laps in the books as we work our way towards our first break, which is at lap 66. Jordan Booth continues to lead here. Bring up the gap information. So if you're looking for your favorite driver, try to figure out how far back he is. He's not probably that far back. These guys, even if you look at the diagram of the graphic of the track itself, they're basically just a straightaway apart. So really looking at the field, even first to last is less than 8 seconds.
It's interesting watching the lap times too. They have slowed by a couple tenths here on what are we, lap 22, coming up on 23, and it's interesting. Fast lap is a 29.7, and that came from Austin Walton, who's back in 16th. So you can see that fast cars aren't necessarily running up front all the time. So Austin Walton's got a fast car tonight. He's in fact, his last lap was almost the exact same time, within 0.02 of the leader. So there you are, mid-pack, and these guys are running the same speed as the leaders. They were just a little more congested at the beginning, and the leaders got a jump on them there. Charlotte is a great track to watch a race at in a live setting as well. I can remember being there for the All-Star race the first year that they let them come down pit road with no speed limit. And wow, what a rush that was, seeing these cars hit, and the caution is out.
Oh, caution's out. Christopher Cash involved in some incident.
Number 69 car with Smoky Mountain Motorsports having a bit of an issue.
Let's see if we can bring up just what happened. Super East, I think Vince Burns possibly was also involved. Let's go back and. Well, that should be your first indication. You're 3 wide.
Yeah. Yeah, and coming off of 4, that's a tough place to be 3 wide.
See if we can just take a slightly different angle here.
That track feels like it narrows up considerably right here.
And the 55 of Vince Burns is riding right, that seam is right under his car. That makes it a little bit slippery. See, the 69 actually kind of
he comes down.
Yeah, he does. There's some contact there with the 55 and the 69, unsettling both cars. They're doing a great job trying to hold on to it, but the 69 contacts a safer barrier, and that's all she wrote for those 2 drivers.
Yep. Hopefully they didn't get too much damage out of that, and they can spend a little bit of time on pit road, get things fixed up, and get back out there.
Yeah, it looks to me like it's mainly just tires. All right, but with that and having 28 laps in the books, guess what? Everybody came down pit road. And they're getting service. Now, a couple of drivers basically just took fuel only. Trace McDowell in the 20 had a quick pit stop of only in the box for only 8.2 seconds, but that's telling me that's fuel only. The same thing with Matt Crockett in the 21. Matt had again, just a fuel only stop, as well as Bradley Reese. And
looks like John Ledger spun on pit road coming out of the pits.
That can certainly happen here at Charlotte.
Yeah. He's making his way back up front, though. It somehow didn't cost him his position.
Watching the 19 of John Ledger right there. Oh, there's a bump. So
Yep.
there is a notorious, that's the only way to call it, a notorious bump right there at the end of pit road, and it will catch the driver. Unfortunately, that little whoops, that's going to put John pretty far back. Well, no, actually, he wound up. We'll see how it shakes out. He's up to 5th.
That's what I was trying to look at, but he made his way back up to 5th position. I guess maybe since he was out of the pits, he got to keep his spot. I'm not sure what the rule is there.
Well, one thing I do know is the lights are off on top of that pace car, which means we are going back to racing next time by. All the field has gotten their service. Everybody's on the lead lap.
And Trace McDowell, with that fuel-only stop that got him P1. Let's see how his tires hold up. So you've got old tires. You got another car, Richard Mills, and Matt Crockett. A few others further back that took fuel-only, but be interesting to see how those old tires do against new tires.
Yeah, I'm not really a betting man, but I would not bet on that driver. And you got that good jump, you're going to get it since you're the control car on the restart, but with fresh tires and inside of a lap, it's going to be pretty apparent.
Yeah, Jordan Booth got a nice run there off of 2. Got out in front of him. He's cleared him now, so yeah, he's going to drop 2 or 3 spots maybe by the time they get around to the start-finish line. Yep. Tracy McDowell, you could see going backwards there.
Yep, he's fading back. He's now back to 6th. Those drivers who took fuel only, they're now retreating. Richard Mills back to 11th, and he's falling back. Matt Crockett, Dakota LaRue, Bradley Reese all took fuel only. They're now back 20th, 21st, 22nd. So if you get the opportunity and you're planning and you're spacing your run out, you cannot afford not to take tires.
Yep. If you had your crystal ball and you knew there was going to be a caution again in a couple laps, but that's just not likely at Charlotte. You don't have as many caution flags in a normal situation. So it's a gamble, but if you're running the back already, maybe it's worth it. I'm not sure. We'll see how it shakes out. If they pitted at 26th and they get to the end of this next run at 22nd, then they gain 4 spots.
With that, I want to welcome Noah to the broadcast booth. Welcome, Noah.
Gentlemen, I'm fashionably late. I apologize, but coming on the way back from a birthday party when I remembered there was a broadcast tonight. So glad to be back up here and glad to be up here for a prestigious race such as the Coke 300.
Good to have you, Noah.
Yes, sir. Glad to be up here.
One thing we've noticed so far is that John Ledger in the 19, he's got some good, on the start of these runs, he's got some good good speed at the onset. He did fade back a bit on that last, but not too bad. They're still top 5.
Yep.
And that's one of the odd things about Charlotte is that this track really brings out the best in drivers you don't normally see up front. So it's good to see guys like Jordan Booth, John Ledger, who are currently, I believe, outside of the playoffs right now. There you can see a couple of drivers we mentioned a few weeks ago. Lucas Whitehead, Corey Ennis, our Texas winner, who seems to be pretty good on these mile-and-a-half cookie-cutter tracks. So always good to see those guys up in front. But so far, it's been Jordan Booth, the man up in front. And look at this train of cars right here going down into 1 and 2. And I mean, this is just competitive racing all around. Love to see it.
Yeah, Jordan Booth was last year's series champion, and he was just a solid competitor each and every week. Could never count him out. Of course, you know what? He went away to college and couldn't take his rig with him, but came back, finished up his first year, came back last week for the All-Star race, won that, and here he is out in front in Charlotte.
Absolutely. He's been the class of the field so far tonight. You've got several guys that have been able to stay with him, though. John Ledger, Lucas Whitehead, Jacob Mossau, Garrett Walton. We've talked about all of them a lot. We also talked about Austin Walton. He was up in the lead there for a little bit, but he has faded now back to 13th. His pit stop was roughly the same time as everybody else's, but he may have been just a little bit slower getting on or getting off of pit road.
So right now, Jacob Mossau is currently 10th in the points. He has not won a race, but he is in 10th. We've got seven unique winners so far, and John Ledger is sitting 14th, so he's above the cut line. But there's still a lot of racing to go.
Yeah, we saw how close Jacob Mossau was to winning Texas a couple weeks ago, so that definitely left a bad taste in his mouth. But you know, he coming back strong here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, sitting in that 4th spot. And man, this field just so close right now. But pack racing is really kind of what you want to have when you're on a long run track, and especially a long run race such as the Coke 600. You want these cars to stay together so you can kind of use up other cars. You see Mossau getting the wall a little bit there, coming off of turn 2. So these tires definitely getting a little bit toasty now. You see drivers utilizing that inside line just a little bit more, and this race is only going to get hotter and hotter as it goes on.
And Lucas Whitehead in the 33 finds himself in that top 3 position. Up there challenging. Yeah, what we saw so far, Noah, and we saw a bit last night, is that the low groove is good, but the high groove, if you can run it, you can really save a little tire and really make up some time.
Right, and the big thing too is, consistency is key. You don't need to be, switching up your game every single lap. I'm going to run high line and then, run the low line the next lap. It really is just going to mess with your head. So early on, you just need to pick a line and you need to stick with it. And right now, that looks like what Jordan Booth has done. He's stuck with that high line. His transfer to the low line in 3 and 4. You're seeing a lot of different lines here at Charlotte Motor Speedway being utilized. As you can see, he goes to the bottom there, and that apron is just so treacherous. You can see the hands of the driver in that car get loose, start grabbing that wheel a little bit tighter, and this track can either bring out the best in you, or it can bring out the worst. And these cars just flying around this 1.5 mile speedway.
You're on board right now with Jordan Booth.
I love this camera shot. Love to see the way these guys use the wheel in the corner. Yeah, see, his car is on rails. You don't see a lot of movement. You saw a little bit there when he had somebody down inside him.
You can see in his mirrors, both that rear view mirror and his right side mirror. He's not out there by himself. He's definitely got some challenging going on.
Yeah, you got the 25 of Jacob Mossau down below him there that's keeping him honest. Not able to, there he cleared him and got down, was able to use the full racetrack now.
One of the things that will make a difference with fuel economy here as we approach lap 45 here of our first stage is going to be shifting. You saw that while we were on board with Jordan Booth, is that they were leveraging the car's engine to downshift as they entered into 1 and 3. That's good. That'll definitely help you to get around this track in the best possible way. However, it will cost you on fuel economy.
Yeah, it is unfortunately one of the downsides of the next gen era is that shifting. I mean, we never saw that back in the 90s and the 2000s, even in the 2010s, but it adds a new level of skill to it, especially with the fuel economy stuff. Do I want to go fast early on, just get the stage points to get that out of the way, or do I want to conserve fuel, stay kind of in the back of the pack, stay kind of quiet, and just make my run and hopefully get past all these guys on pit road. So it definitely is a strategy to racing, and especially in a pack like this where one mistake could possibly take out the last 10 or 11 cars in this field. So always an odd strategy to see with shifting, but always good to see what drivers are going for that strategy or who's opting to just go run it with the devil early on.
We are
seeing this segment of the race. They'll be able to just go flat out now because the fuel window will take them past where the stage break is, so they should be in good shape.
What we aren't seeing here is a lot of breakaway. It's so hard to do here, and you've got pretty much a dozen cars right there, right on the tail of Jordan Booth by not far, but we do have a group of drivers that have broken away, so I would say that's probably about 15 drivers. That 99 of Tyler Lem is the last car in this lead group. So the field is basically broken in half. Then there are a couple drivers that are trapped in, I would classify that as kind of no man's land. That's Mike Wheel and Scott Thomas there. And then the group with back here, you've got Shane Trotter and Vince Burns. And then you've got the guys who are 20th through 28th, which are back there just trying to pedal their way around the track. And I'll be honest, a lot of these guys, Trace McDowell, Richard Mills, Dakota LaRue, Ron Fitting, Bradley Reese, Matt Crockett, all of these guys at the tail end of the field, they did not take tires. They are on old tires. So good for them. They saved the set in the pits, but it's kind of biting them a bit here.
Yeah, I'll say, though, they have to be running just so slippery right now on that track. It's going to be, the track itself is getting greasy, but then your tires are worn, which just kind of doubles the effect of it. So here we are 52 laps in, and they're saying, somebody wreck, I need a caution.
Well, it's not a bad strategy because they know that they're going to get a stage break in 14 laps. So if they can just hold on for those 14 laps, they did not burn a set. That everybody's going to come down anyways at the stage break. That's maybe some good thinking, some good strategy.
I would think Christopher Cash is about to get lapped. There he just went a lap down.
Yep. Man, he did not give he did not give a whole lot of room to the leader as he went by, but yeah.
Yeah, Matt Crockett's
I will say
next in line.
Yeah, we'll say one of the interesting thing is being on the iRacing part of this, listening to the drivers communicate with each other around these lap cars and just around with pit strategy as well. You have some manufacturers, some teammates going to try to come down pit road all together, but knowing how treacherous Charlotte can be, pit cycle's obviously going to get broken up, miscommunications, but it always is really cool to just hear these drivers get on the radio and try to talk to each other, try to communicate the best they can to save each other's race.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Charlotte is a unique track. You can get some pretty high speeds coming out of into 3 and out of 4, but then if you've got to get that load up as you get onto pit road down to 45. We saw last night when we were broadcasting the Tech for Troops Cup Series here at Charlotte, a number of speeding penalties on pit road. All right, we thank you all for tuning in to the IWM broadcast of the iNRS Coca-Cola 300 here at Charlotte. All we ask that you do, if you could, get a chance, go ahead and click that subscribe button on the channel. We'd love to keep you updated as to what we do here, and we do have special events as well, and we'd appreciate you as part of our family.
Gordon Booth still running in that first position, class of the field so far tonight, although everybody's able to stay with him. But you don't see guys getting super racy right at the moment up at the front of the field. I think they're going to be content as we get close to lap 66 and the end of the stage. You may see a little more activity as guys try to gain some stage points. Right now, Jordan Booth, followed by Jacob Mossau, Matt Parasini, Corey Ennis, and Lucas Whitehead round out the top 5.
One thing we definitely see here is a bit of lap fall off.
Yeah.
I believe, Rick, it was you who said earlier, we didn't see a lot of breakaway. Well, after that lap car kind of shook that field up, you were starting to see it now. I mean, we may possibly be seeing the best 3 cars on track. Obviously, we're not even halfway through this race. It still is way too early to tell. We said that on the last broadcast. I was on at Texas, and, we had a guy come up from 29th or 21st to win that race. So it's going to be it's still a long night to go. We still have about 140 laps to go here. We're just coming up on lap 60 in a couple moments here. But Jordan Booth putting the hurdle on 30.740 was his fastest, and we are seeing a decent amount of fall off going from the low 30s, 31s to, now we're up in the 30.70. So it's been about, I'd say, a 2/10 fall off lap to lap for these cars now over the last 10. So it's going to get worse as it goes on.
Yeah, if you look at Jordan Booth's best lap, it was a 29.88. So he's nearly a full second off his best. We do have that stage break coming up. They only have one stage break in this league. They do that and that is coming up at lap 66 as Booth making his way around the 21 of Matt Crockett. But there's 5 laps left to go in this stage, and the competition caution will fly.
So Matt Crockett should get that lap back again. We'll see where Matt and Christopher Cash end up. They're running pretty close together right now.
See Jacob Musso, who's in the second position. Of course, right now he's got lap traffic around him.
Yeah, they're not making it easy for him.
So that 24 right there, that's Matt Parasini. That was a little close between himself and Jacob there. That big Canadian flag splashed across the front of that 24.
Jacob Mossau in third, and Corey Ennis in fourth, both running for Short Fused Motorsports. And then the Jordan Booth and Matt Parasini both running for 40 XLI.
Something that is interesting, looking at the last 6 laps here, we've gone from, this is looking at Jacob Musso, going from 30.629, then to 7, then to 848.97, and now we're in the 31s, and he just set a 31.187 second lap. So that fall off is starting to get really big here for these drivers here. These stage points are going to mean everything to these guys. We just have about 2 laps left before the lap 66 stage break, and then it's going to be all chaos on pit road. So we're going to see a lot of these guys, use up what they have left in the stage because they know they have to pit. They know everybody else has to pit. So 2 laps to go here in this stage. We're going to see who can pull it off.
Now that flag will fly at the conclusion of lap 66. We were saying that about a third of, maybe not a third, maybe about 10 drivers who chose not to pit they actually got themselves some good education. I'm sorry, they took fuel only. They did not change tires. They got some good education as to just how these how the tire wear is at this race. So when they go back in for their stage break pit stop, they'll get some good data to let them know just how much life they have left in those tires.
Yeah, another interesting fact there, the 5 cars that did not take tires, 3 of them are Grease Monkey Motorsports cars and the other 2 are independent. So that could be that the 5 of them were working together and decided to try that as a group.
All right, our stage is now complete. And our competition caution has flown. Jordan Booth wins that stage. Jacob Musso, Matt Parasini, Corey Ennis, John Ledger, Garrett Walden, Lucas Whitehead, John DeRudris, Lucas Gortman, and Ty Bostic all pick up stage points.
One car I think we're going to have to watch out for all night. Jordan Booth was the only car in this field to have not run a 31-second lap yet. He has been on fire so far this stage, and his slowest lap was a 30.961. So he's got a lot to look forward to tonight, and I'm sure he's sitting in that number 41 machine thinking he's the best car right now. So it's still too early to tell, but I'd keep an eye out for Jordan Booth tonight.
That's some good race odds right there. Let me tell you, if this was the Kentucky Derby, wouldn't make a whole lot of money putting that bet down.
No. Pace car gathers the field all up. They should be coming to pit road here. You see them take down into pit road. Everybody's going to come. Those guys at the back are begging for tires.
Good view down pit road there. We're going to see who's going to come down, take a fresh set of Goodyear rubbers. See who will get out first watching this race off pit road here.
John Ledger didn't get really squared up in his box.
No, I just now saw that. Let's see who's going to get off, and it's the 41 again. Jordan Booth wins the race off pit road. Matthew Parasini is going to grab that second place spot, and he's going to be up 1 from where this stage ended.
Yeah, that wasn't even close. Jordan Booth probably had 3 car lengths coming off of pit road. That was a very good stop on his part. 14.9. Jacob Mossau a little bit faster with a 14.55, and then Garrett Walden with a 14.32. That's a very, very respectable pit stop.
All those drivers towards the tail end of the field, I'm sure they were pretty happy to get some fresh rubber. They've been pedaling around here for 69 laps on their scuff sets from qualifying.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing to be able to get that many laps.
Yeah, and I mean, this may be a new challenger appears type of situation. Corey Ennis has found his way up to the top 3. He'll be starting, I believe, in the 3rd spot. All depending on, obviously, choose cone and everything. It looks like he will be lining up on the inside. So, 3rd spot for Corey Ennis. I believe he's up 2 from where the stage ended. So, Corey Ennis looking for another great day here on a 1.5 miles, and he's going to try to tame the Coca-Cola 300 here at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Matt Parasini in 2nd is our biggest gainer of the race so far. He's up 26 positions. That's amazing. Wow. Just in that first 66 laps, he had his foot in it for sure.
Yeah, Tyrell M plus 14, so some big movers. Corey Ennis himself as well, plus 10. So.
Yeah, we talked about Austin Wheeler. Started up near the front, ran up front for quite a while, and something's gone wrong for him because he's dropped 17 spots down to 19th now. So that's Something going wrong with that number 48 Chevrolet.
Well, the good news about Charlotte and the Coke 300 is there is a lot of racing to go.
Absolutely. On lap 70 right now, 130 roughly still to go. Cars are all lined up, ready to take the green flag.
All right, green flag flies.
Really good jump there from Jordan Booth to get up front. Looks like Ennis going to try to challenge for really close racing there between him and Parasini as they're going to come off turn 2 now, side by side, and that is about as close as you can get. Looked like a little bit of contact there between Ennis and Parasini, and going down into 3. Can he clear? Yes, he can. Parasini going to go to second. Look at Garrett Walden on the outside of the 43 machine. Another contact there from Ennis. Almost 3 wide for the lead, and that's going to open up the door for Musau in the 25 to try to grab that 3rd place spot where he lost a couple on pit road, and he knows he can run up front. He's going to go to the inside of the 27 of Ennis now, and it's all Parasini and Booth up in front.
Yeah, that 43 caught a little bit of that wall, that safer barrier there in that contact. 19 John Ledger, little friendly tap in the back to Jacob Musau. Matt Parasini is a teammate of Jordan Booth. They're running nose to tail there, trying to separate themselves a bit from the field and doing a pretty darn good job.
Boy, I'll say, it looks like they're trying to use a little Daytona strategy, and maybe 2 cars go faster than 1.
Well, that definitely is the case here at Charlotte. There's a little bit of, there's definitely some value in that.
Yeah, and I will say, looking at the last couple lap times here, Parasini is the faster car by about 0.04 of a second per lap. So we'll see if he'll save up that speed, or he'll just want to get up front early. They're closing in on I believe 25 to go till the halfway mark, which is going to be lap 100. Those beautiful chrome paint schemes are shining in the Carolina sun, and off turn 4, nose to tail, teammates Booth, Parasini. Right behind them, John Ledger has fought up for 3rd. It is a hornet's nest behind John Ledger there, as he's going to have DeRugeris to his outside. A good run for John tonight. Exactly what he's wanting to see right now. So you got 2 Johns battling there. To his inside is Lucas Gorman in the number 16 machine. So, yeah, that hornet's nest back there behind Tyler Lem, I mean, that is not where you want to be this early on in the race. You want to get out of that and get single file as quick as you can.
We've got teammates running up front now. Jordan Booth and Matt Parasini both running 40 XLI, and then John Ledger, John DeRugeris for IWM Racing. So it's definitely teammate racing at the front.
One of the things that you'll see and that these drivers like is that they've got some clean air. Jordan Booth's got that up front. He's got his teammate Matt Parasini with them. For that matter, John Ledger, he was able to leverage that clean air and catch up to those 2 drivers. And we'll see the same thing happen with the 59 of DeRugeris. He's not having to deal with that 2 wide that he had to work his way through that those guys were facing. We've seen that 2 wide is now a little bit deeper in the field. Back here with Vince Burns, it starts out with the 17 of Austin Walton. He's now 2 wide.
Yeah, I think what we saw with Jordan Booth and Matt Parasini is they were running really close, bumper to bumper for a while there, and that's when they were able to really separate themselves. Now you can see there's a bit more of a gap between the 41 and the 24, and that's allowed those other cars to catch up.
Seen some close racing in the back.
Yeah, you take a look at the 20. Oh, we almost have a spinner in the back there. Let's see if we can take a look at who that is. Austin Wheeler almost goes around. It looked like, Matt Crockett, I believe. Let's see if we can see who that was in a replay. But Corey Ennis has dropped about 10 spots now. He's battling for 12th with Michael Whitley. They've gone, that hornet's nest in front of him has gone single file. It's Austin Walton, Lucas Whitehead, Garrett Walden, Jacob Musau, Jeffrey Ramsdell, Tyler Lem, Lucas Gortman, John DeRugeris, John Ledger, Matthew Parasini, and Jordan Booth. That's your top 12 as it currently sits right now. Ledger has caught that lead pack, and DeRugeris is trying to catch it as well, and I have no doubt in my mind that those two cars up there, those 4 cars, excuse me, they'll be battling up front for the lead later on tonight.
Just looking back at a replay here between the 21 of Matt Crockett and the 48 of Austin Wheeler. See if we see anything on this replay that these guys were battling back here, but it doesn't look like there's anything.
Looked like that red car got close to the wall a couple laps ago. I don't know if he touched it or not, but
so far pretty clean
right now.
Yeah. All right, back to live action. Back up front, Jordan Booth and Matt Parasini. Got John Ledger right there in third. DeRugeris is still there. He's not able to close that gap with Ledger at this time. Tyler Lem in the 99 battles back. We saw him further on back in the back, but now that car is up to he's plus 18 spots.
Yeah, Ty Bostic has dropped back a little bit too. He was running up there in the top 10, and now he's dropped back to 15th. Still running respectable lap times, but he's probably about 2/10 off the leader right now.
Only car a lap down is Christopher Cashel. See just caution does come out. He is, well, now actually he has retired. So really everybody in the field right now is on the lead lap. Back up front, Booth, Parasini, and Ledger.
John Ledger now has the fast lap for the race. 29,
Yeah,
almost 29.6.
Ledger's got that car honed in. He's been reeling that lead pack in these last couple of laps, and we'll see if he's, if he's been over aggressive on those tires. We'll see. This is just a strategy here, but these top 2 cars right here, it's been just intriguing to watch them go at it lap after lap, but it doesn't look like anyone has made any move to get past another driver. So we'll see what these 2 teammates are going to do, whether the gloves are going to come off about halfway through, or they're going to the 24 Parasini is going to play defense for the 41 of Booth for Ledger, if he's going to try to get up front in that number 19 Tech for Troops machine. Beautiful paint scheme for John Ledger tonight, and behind him it's Gorman and DeRugeris leading that Hornets Nest pack back there, and we'll see if they can catch up. But in the meantime, up front, it's Parasini and Booth, 2 teammates going at it for the lead.
Good team orders between these guys. They're gonna just manage their race strategy. They know that if we figured out, we're guessing around, if we assume 50 laps on a tank of fuel, then we should see these guys coming in, sometime around lap 118, somewhere in there. They're just about 20 laps now. As we were saying earlier, that's right around where where that sticker tire begins to just lose a bit of its grip and push a bit.
Probably about 30 laps to go till we see cars starting to pit for fuel and tires. Tyler Lame up 18 spots now. He just continues to make his way towards the front, up to 6th position in that Mountain View Racing Ford.
These drivers up front have nearly a 1.5-second gap between themselves and the 4th place driver of Lucas Corbin. Not sure what happened with John DeRugeris in the 59, but he has slipped back to 6th.
It looks like he got a little bit loose there. He looks like he didn't see the 99 of Lem get his outside, and he had a big checkup moment there. But Parasini is now 2/10 of a second faster a lap than Jordan Booth. So it is just intriguing to watch, him reel him back in and drop back a little bit. We'll see what the strategy is as it's going to play out as the race goes on now. Just 10 laps away from halfway and a very, very competitive field. I mean, I have no doubt any of these cars in this lead pack could win this race. But it's Charlotte. It's a wild card. It's the longest race of the year. And, it's these drivers' opportunities to shine on one of the biggest stages in motorsports. You can see contact with the wall for Lucas Gortman. But this is one of the biggest stages in motorsports, and all of these drivers want to win the Coke 300 here tonight. So Parasini, Booth, the two guys up in front right now, John Ledger in pursuit, Lucas Gortman and Tyler Lem, that's your top 5. And this race is just getting started, folks.
Yeah, the rest of the top 10, John DeRugeris in 6th, Jeff Ramsdale in 7th, Jacob Mausau in 8th, Lucas Whitehead in 9th, and Garrett Walden, teammate to Jordan Booth and Matt Parasini, rounds out the top 10. A lot of good racing mid-pack, though. You get back around Lucas Gortman, Tyler Lame, John DeRugeris, Jacob Mausau back there in like 4th through 7th or 8th. Those guys are hanging tough together. And then behind them, it just another great, just great battles going on back there.
Solid competition, but further on back through the field. See this? These guys are running too wide.
Definitely not good for your tires there.
No. See a lot of discipline tonight out of Jordan Booth and Matt Parasini. They, they know they're smart. They're driving smart. They're not battling each other. They're just running together, trying to distance themselves from the field and do a pretty good job of it. They've got, looks like over a second on 3rd place car of John Ledger and another second and a half over the 4th place car of Lucas Gortman.
Yeah, this goes back to what we were talking about earlier with John Ledger, the way he's set up and how he runs this track. You saw him good, right up front there with the leaders for the first half of this run. But as this run is beginning to slip into the latter half of it, he's fading back just a little bit.
You got to say, I admire how these front two are running here with Booth and Parasini. I mean, I wouldn't have that much patience if it was the Coke 600 and I was in a situation like that. I'd want to be up in front leading this race, but it's just good teamwork. I mean, they know, just like Tom Petty said, love's a long road, and so is the Coke 600. It's 200 laps here tonight, and, we're about 3 laps away from the halfway point, so it's going to start heating up as we get closer and closer to the end, but it's still way too early to call who's going to win this race, and I think these guys know that here, these two teammates here. They know, I would assume Booth knows that Parasini's just a little bit faster, but, their teammates, they want to break away just as quick as they can and get to those green flag pit stops.
Absolutely. We're about 30 laps into this green flag run, so we've got no more than 20 to go, I would say. So we're going to start seeing some activity here in a bit, and be interesting to see if people short pit, try to come in and get tires sooner to get their speeds back up. Or I think the biggest part of them, though, are going to run that thing till it's just about dry. Try to stretch it as far as they can.
Well, you can see Matt Parasini taking advantage of that second place position. One of the benefits of this this Gen 7 car is its aerodynamics, and when you're tucked in behind somebody just like that, you're able to leverage them moving that air out from in front of you, and you can definitely, as this race winds down, you can use that to your advantage, try and slingshot your way around them. But it's like a Sunday drive for these two drivers up front. Dropping back to the field, kind of taking a little tour of the field right now. See John Ledger's got that, he's running that high line. He's got John DeRutris running high behind him. John contacts that wall. John Ledger, that is. But we're all running pretty much a single file. Saw not Jeff Ramsey, I mean it's Austin Wheeler up here. It's the only side-by-side battle I see on the track right now. That's the 48 of Austin Wheeler and the 43 of Garrett Walden.
Little Air Force One scheme, and a lot of good cars in the back. There we go.
Get to the halfway point, and the caution flag flies.
Right at the halfway point, that 43. Luckily, he kept his brakes and he held it there. Probably should have let that turn kind of clean him off.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I hope it's not at least, but a little bit of an announcer's jinx there. We were on the subject, cameras on, and just unfortunately, 43 goes around there. I can't quite tell who would be at fault there. It looks like a racing incident between those two, just battling for position. But unfortunate for Garrett Wall. It looks like a couple other cars got involved as well. I believe the 48's involved as well. I saw a car up in front get a little bit contact with the right side wall, so we'll see what happens there.
Just a little contact with that left rear.
Yeah.
Yeah, Austin Wheeler in the 48th is on pit road now.
Unfortunately, 33 got collected in that. That was Lucas Whitehead. With that, we have got we're on pit road.
The train coming down pit road here is... See a lot of cars coming down now. We'll see who will get out first. Just past the halfway point here. Booth's got the last pit stall, and that seems to be the end of pit road that's getting the best right now. The best results off of pit road. So we'll see what's going to happen here watching the end of pit road now. Ledger got into the box good that time. We'll see how that'll impact him coming off pit road. Looks like everybody taking 4 tires and a little splash of Sunoco fuel coming off pit road. Now it's Booth again, and Parasini grabs that second place spot once again, and it looks like it's going to be the power duo again, leading up front. Yeah. And
they both had
Gortman
good
and Lem
stops.
Gortman and Lem and Ledger grab 3rd, 4th, and 5th, and it's going to be a good battle we're going to watch here.
Yeah, that 19 of Ledger had just a bit of a slow stop that time. Not bad, but almost a second slower than Booth and Parasini. But still manages to hang in there in 5th position. He and his teammate John DeRutris are in 5th and 6th.
Looks like it's about coming up to almost just 8 o'clock here in Charlotte. So we will have a transition from day to night racing. And we'll finish this race under the lights. Track temp has fallen. It was 104 during qualifying. It's now down to 79 degrees, which we should see some increased speeds.
Fast pit stop that time was the 21 team of Matt Crockett, Unhinged Racing Ford. 14:48. Really good pit stop for those guys.
Because we've got the golden hour of lighting going on right now.
I'll say.
All right, again, we thank you for tuning in to the IWM broadcast of the iNRS Racing Series here in the Coca-Cola 300. We certainly appreciate those of you who have subscribed to our channel, and if you haven't, we'd love to have you.
At 33 of Lucas Whitehead's back in the pit, or he's still in the pits, I should say.
Back green. And no stranger to the front. Jordan Booth, a good jump again. Faster and faster coming off of turn 2 here. A lot of good cars coming off their road.
Yeah, Matt Perosini drops in his second, but we've seen the 19 of Ledger at the front of these runs really find his speed as well. You got the 16 of Lucas Gortman. He's up there taking over second.
Yeah, that is not what Jordan Booth wanted to see, is his teammate get past now 2 wide with the 99 machine of Tyler Lem. So the 24's got some work to do to get back up to his teammate, but Lucas Gortman wants that lead. He's hungry for it, and he knows he can run up front and he can win. So keep an eye out on that number 99 machine as well. Tyler Lem up 21 spots. I believe 21 spots are coming from 21st. Yep. But a lot of good cars up in front right now. I mean, this is going to be an excellent battle to the end here if we stay green, which is highly unlikely. But, you know, a lot of good cars up in front. Look at DeRuger. It's an interesting line he's taking there. Everybody's running the bottom. He looks to be the only car right now consistently running that 59. And look how close he gets to the 99 of Lem. And that run just worked for him. And now look at Lucas Gortman going to the inside for the lead.
Door to door here, these two guys battling for position to take over the lead.
Big push there from Lem.
Lucas Gortman has it right now.
Yeah, with that move, he kind of shut the door. They're still door to door here with Jordan Booth and Tyler Lem.
Yeah, Jordan Booth's back with Matt Perosini again, but I don't think he wanted to get there that way. Well, this will be an interesting fuel strategy race at this point because they pitted at lap 102. So if you figure 48 laps get up to lap 150, that's 50 laps to the finish. So
yep,
they'll be on fumes at that point, but going to make the race interesting, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
Will we see a David Rudiman type situation? You know, against all odds, you know, someone's going to come up to the front of this field and hopefully try to win it. But now the lead for the 16 of Gortman, we'll see if he can hold on to it because he's got teammates hooked up once again, Perosini and Booth. They've got Tyler Lem, DeRugeris, and Ledger. That's going to be your top 6 there. Jeffrey Ramsdell in the 97 machine has found his way up to 7th. He's got Musal behind him, Ty Bostic and Austin Walton. That rounds out your top 10. That beautiful number 17 Roadrunner machine. Contact with wall for Ty Bostic, and that seems to be something we're seeing a lot tonight. Is on the exit of these corners, guys just barely scraping that wall, overjudging that corner just slightly. And so far, it's been that kind of a night for a lot of these guys. And look at a battle for the lead here. It's just again heating up as Perosini knows he's the faster car by about 1/10 of a second. Looking at the lap times, Lucas Gortman's lead is now in jeopardy.
Riding along with Matt Perosini.
Right up to the bumper of that Ford Mustang of Lucas Gortman. What a beautiful view. Oh, little contact on the wall at the back of the field there.
Lucas Gortman kind of hangs on to it. Thought he was going to lose it there for a second. But Matt Persini backs off just a little bit, but he'll try it again.
Yeah, it's a little bit like a game of dominoes at Charlotte. You know, you got to set it up, you know, and you watch it play out. It doesn't work. You know, all the dominoes get knocked down. You got to go right back and set it up again. So always action happening here at Charlotte, and these guys know it. Gortman now. Big contact with the wall there, and he was flat out coming off turn 4. That's going to open up the door for Pericini, and here it comes to the 24 machine back to the inside.
That could have done some major damage to that right side of Lucas Gortman.
He's coming back, though.
And he outruns him down the back straightaway. Wow.
I guess that's a good sign there wasn't any aero damage.
He might get this lead back, and Lucas Gortman running that outside line just consistently. He knows how to get there. Watch the run he gets off the back straightaway here. Off of turn 2, just out-drags the 24 machine, gets about half a car length clear, but just can't get the 24 off of his doors. He gets big loose there. In a 3 and 4, the 24 finally clears the 16 out of the lead, and Pericini goes up front again.
With contact like that, even though it was looking pretty square up, it doesn't take much to knock that toe link in these cars.
Yeah, I'm a little confused as why Pericini didn't keep that outside lane when he had it, because he slid up in front of Gortman, but then immediately came back down again, and that let Gortman get to his outside.
Gortman's not giving up.
No, not at all.
No. He's going to fight. I mean, he knows he has a car to run up front, and, you know, why should I settle for second? He's going to want that lead, and you can see he wants it badly, by the way. He's driving, might clear him here. Just does not have the run off of turn 2 that he needs. He can get just clear of him, but just doesn't have the room. I mean, barely even a bumper between him and the 24 down the back straightaway. So he's going to set it up, try again. If he can get a good run in 1 and 2, I have no doubt in my mind he can clear down the back straightaway.
Needs a little bit of help from his partner there to help him. But, you know, if he's not running, if the driver that you're supposed to be behind is not running your line, you don't want to follow him.
Yeah.
Especially on this run. This is the in my opinion, this is the money run. You know, you're past the halfway point. You want to get as much good fuel mileage as you can, which means you got to save your tires a little bit. This is not saving tires. These guys are battling. And Gortman finds himself back up front.
Yeah, we're seeing their times slow down by a tenth or so just from running side by side.
That has allowed the rest of the field, even though we are stressed out a little bit here, to really stay competitive.
Caution is out again.
Oh, yellow is out.
Matt
you can
Crockett.
see what happened here.
Our 4th caution flag of the night.
See Matt Crockett in that 21 car moving slowly. Looks like there is some damage to that car. Looks like the 20 is there. A little contact with 20. The 20. That's Trace McDowell in the 20. That gets into the left rear of the 21.
Yeah, 3 wide, especially in that spot there. It never really goes well. And that, tell you, one of those cars got lucky there. That was a 27 machine. Just super close there to get involved in that. Or excuse me, the 28 machine of Musal was super lucky to not get involved in that. Wow. Close call.
Yeah, a little bit of gamesmanship there Not everybody decided to come in on that. In fact, guess who stayed out?
Yeah.
Yep. Matt Parasini and Jordan Booth.
Well, they only had 21 laps on those tires.
Bold strategy, Cotton. We'll see how this plays out. It's definitely going to be interesting to watch. Not the move I would have made if I was those two. You know, knowing this field is going to be on newer tires, it's kind of like an all-star race situation. We saw Joe Willigano stay out and ultimately get passed by Christopher Bell with, I believe, 30 laps to go. So we'll see how this is going to play out for this field. We've seen a lot of cars now up front who have not been used to being up front in this race. Austin Walton, Shane Trotter, and Richard Mills. Like Jeffrey Ramsdell, the first car off pit road. Look at that.
Yeah, looks like he was fuel only. Had a 8-second pit stop there.
Not a bad idea. A little splash of gas.
Looks like everybody else all the way down took 4 tires and fuel, though.
That's very interesting.
So 20 lap fresher tires on everyone except Matt Parasini, Jordan Booth, and
Austin Walton.
there he is, Shane Trotter.
And yeah, those top 4. We'll see how it all plays out. You know, you always go back when you do your post-race analysis. You know, where did I make that fateful error, or you know, or what wins me the race? Never know. All right, the lights are off on top of our pace car. Matt Parasini looks like he has elected to take that outside line.
This is going to be a fun restart.
Yep. Pretty much that 20 lap margin. That's really where we see that, you know, the tires kind of begin to lose their freshness and their best speed, and we're there. So we'll see how this all plays out. Now that does leave these drivers that did not pit with another set of tires back in their box.
Booth, Parasini on the front row. No strangers to the lead all night long. Coming back to green. These cars stayed out. Everybody else behind them has a fresh set of Goodyear Eagles on their car. And we're going back green. It looks like a bit of a struggle there for the 38 machine getting off the start. And Jeffrey Ramsdell going to try to take advantage of that on the inside line. And we'll see how these new tires will play out for these cars. It looked like Shane Trotter had a little bit of trouble on the start. We saw a wiggle out of him.
Yeah, a little bit of a
We'll see
check
what
up
that'll
there.
open up. Yeah, we'll see what that's going to open up for these cars.
In the back, car spinning in the back, but he looks like he's holding on to it. That's
car to the wall, Walton. Saw a big stack up there. Walton went into the wall. Looks like he's fine. He's going to charge around the outside of the 97 machine of Jeffrey Ramsdell. He's going to try to hook back up with that lead pack. So big stack up there with those cars. But Jeffrey Ramsdell now has found himself in a prime position right behind these lead cars.
2 cars.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh. Something just happened there, guys.
Yeah.
I think it was the 97 blinked and it kind of...
Gosh, and this is what you call a horn. Looking for second now. Lem going under Parasini, and that's going to break up the teammate duo. Parasini's going to go around. Daves it. Wow. Disaster.
Way down.
Almost struck at Charlotte. DeRugeris goes all the way down to the apron. What a save by Matt Parasini. He's going to still be making contact with the wall. Wow.
More contact with Musso and Whitley.
Boy, when I said this is going to be an interesting restart, It turned out to be one. And now teammates are very heavily broken apart now.
Matt Parasini all the way back to 17th.
Yeah. He's got a long, long way to go to get back up to his teammate. We'll see if he's going to have any damage. His right rear tapped the wall pretty heavily. We'll see how this is going to play out. It's going to be interesting. And that has made room for Ty Bostic in that fourth position. Now he's running with that lead pack, and it is a Hornet's Nest with Lucas Gorman, Jordan Booth, and the 99 machine of Lem looking to the inside for second. Will he get there? Yes, he can. And we are using the high line here at Charlotte now.
Boy, it is like someone threw a switch on that pit stop, because now all of a sudden everybody's getting racy. At that shot, just all those cars are still grouped together. Well, at this point, you got first and second on two entirely different pit strategies. Tyler Lem moving a little bit ahead of Jordan Booth now, taking over the P1.
It's anybody's race right now. We're trading spots everywhere.
Wow, and this has changed things up big time. You got a lot of guys now who have not been up front. Most of this race is Tyler Lem, the man up in front now. He's got Ty Bostic behind him. Jordan Booth DeRugeris now is going to lead that inside line with Corey Ennis, who we saw run second earlier. He's going to be now in that fourth spot, and this train up here is just now heating up. It has left Charlotte Station, and it is full throttle from here on out. 3 wide now, looking for 10th contact again.
Contact.
Wow. It's just chaos right now. I think that's the best way to say it. It is chaotic in this field right now. Big contact again between that 20 machine
wide
and
there
looks
for
like
a
Trace
second.
McDowell.
16 into the door. Gortman into the door of the 41. No respect for that former leader.
No, it looks like
hammered.
it's the 41 contact with the 55 machine of Vince Burns.
They're still banging.
Car to the wall. That's Scott Thomas. Good grief.
Jordan Booth now finds himself in 15th position.
And Parasini all the way back to 21st. He is the last car in this field. Not the night he's wanting to have. Corey Ennis and Ty Bostic now up in front. If you'd have told me about 50 laps ago that these two guys would be up in front, I don't think I'd have believed you. But they have found their way back up. Ennis now side by side, door to door off of turn number 4. Contact, a little bit of scrape from the 22 of Bostic, and he's got John Ledger, Tyler Lem, John DeRugeris, and Michael Whitley. The 94 machine, where did he come from? He has found his way up to the front. He's in the 6th position now. Ty Bostic again, contact with the wall. That might get him the lead coming off a
crossover.
turn 2.
Little racy for lap 135 here. There's still, someone tell these drivers there's still 64 laps to go.
Well, we knew Jordan Booth and Matt Parasini wanted to get back together again, but I don't think they had that method in mind when they wanted to do that.
No.
They're back. Matt Parasini's 20th, Jordan Booth's back in 16th. It just shows how fast things can change in the world of NASCAR iRacing.
And Corey Ennis up there is up in front in at 27, but he has got the 3 IWM guys, Ledger, Bostic, and DeRugeris, right behind him.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think if it's any night for DeRugeris to pick up one, which we've seen him up in front in most of the races this season, if it's any time, I think it could be this race, so keep an eye out for DeRugeris. But when you have teammates hook up like this, we saw what happened with Booth and the 29 machine. of, I believe it's Walden, or excuse me, Musau. I mean, it's going to be chaotic once again. Look at the 16 machine going for it. Gorman, I mean, he's just been aggressive all night long. I mean, he definitely could go for the win here. He's going to get the inside of the DeRugeris. He's going to have Tyler Lem right behind him. So, chaos through this field right now. We're going to see who can pull it off.
Yeah, we saw the 16 and the 99 drive up earlier. Maybe they can do it again.
Somewhere in that melee, Corey Ennis has managed to take over fastest lap from John Ledger.
Wow.
He has run a 29.5, 5.1, and John Ledger's fast lap was a 21.59. So only 8/100ths, but to be able to do it when all that chaos was going on, Corey Ennis had his foot in it.
It looks like teammates have found each other again. Parasini is now hooked up with Jordan Booth. He's about 4 or 5 car lengths back from him. So we'll see if those teammates can find each other again and possibly make a push up front. And in the meantime, Corey Ennis back up in front. He's going to have John Ledger, Ty Bostic, Lucas Gorman, and John DeRugeris, who's now under fire from Tyler Lem, as well as Michael Whitley, Trace McDowell, and Jacob Musau, who we saw in the back early before that pit stop when that caution came out, and he's now found his way up to 8th. Scott Thomas in 9th and Dakota LaRue in 10th. Excuse me, Dakota LaRue in 11th. Scott Thomas rounds out your top 10. Trace McDowell's in the 9th spot.
Well, it looks like it's settled down a little bit for now. But we have not seen the end of the excitement. We still have about 38 laps to go. And it's the calm before the storm, I think.
Yeah, all these drivers will have to stop one more time prior to the conclusion of this race.
Yeah, Jordan Booth and Matt Parasini are still slipping back, so I think they're probably seeing the result of not taking tires on that last spot. They're back to 18th and 19th now. They took tires on lap 102, so
yep, that's a long
they've got
time
41 laps on their tires. No, I'm sorry, 61 laps on their tires. Everybody else has 41 laps.
Yeah, I think we knew at some point that was going to happen. Then we're going to drop to the back with those older tires. We'll see if they'll short pit possibly and try to outsmart this field, wait for a late caution, and possibly come back up front. This field's calmed down, but we know what happens after that has been said, the chaos that ensued earlier on. But Corey Ennis up in front. He's got John Ledger bearing down on him, though, and we'll see how much longer that lead's going to last. As Ledger looks like the faster car going to get the inside. Contact is made. Ennis into the outside retaining wall, and John Ledger going to try to go for the lead here.
Guys, why don't you check the race info and see how many sets of tires these drivers have?
These guys have 6 sets of tires.
All right, so tires are not being out of tires is not a factor. It's just timing to getting them on.
Yeah.
More contact with the 27 of Corey Ennis in that safer barrier.
Loose and fast. And we'll see if that'll pay off for Corey Ennis. And again, a scrape with that wall. He's just getting dangerously close to some bad damage. We'll look to the inside here. No, we want a big push there to the 19 of Ledger. And the IWM guy's going to try to hook up on that inside line.
You can only tap that wall so many times before you inflict some damage on these cars.
It's going to be tough for Jordan Booth and Matt Parasini too, because they're going to be hitting the limit on those tires pretty soon, but they're also going to be just inside the fuel window to make it to the end of the race. And if they take tires, 10, 15, even 20 laps before everyone else, then they're going to be in the same boat at the end of the race where they're on old tires.
Yeah, they're going to definitely probably have to take, I guess that fuel window is coming up, I think, in 2 laps. They can make it 2 more.
Yep.
I mean, that's 102 to 46. They've definitely got the fuel in the tank to cross that 150 lap marker, but
less than halfway there. We're living on a prayer now for most of these guys up in front. Ledger, Ennis have been duking out for the last couple of laps there. And John DeRugeris has found his way back up to the front. We'll see what he can do going to the inside of that number 22 machine.
don't cut out the 16 of Gortman. He's found his way around and now finds himself sitting in 3rd, but he's got a lot of pressure behind him. To see, looking at this pack of cars, that there's clearly 2 different lines, 2 different approaches as to how to get around here the fastest way you can, and some are kind of looking at that high line, and that's working for them. Others looking like a blend.
Now Matt Parasini has pulled in front of Jordan Booth, trying to keep an eye on that battle at the rear there.
Yeah, I think those guys are dog paddling a bit right now, just trying to stay relative, trying to get to that fuel stop. I expect to see those guys on pit road anytime.
Yeah, they're back in the 18th and 19th spot, respectively. Parasini's last lap was a 31.026. Looking back up front, John Ledger's last lap, 30.794. So significantly slower for those 2 cars, not taking tires. We'll see how that's going to play out in these last couple laps here, but it's Ennis, Gortman, Bostic, and DeRugeris. That's your top 5 with 50 laps to go.
Yeah, they're at least 2 or 3 tenths off this pace.
Not good.
No, it appears that at this point anyway, that strategy seems to be failing them.
Corey Ennis, even with his contact with that safer barrier, still keeps that car pointed in the right direction and stays in 2nd place. Dakota LaRue on pit road. Also Austin Walton. So pit stops are coming.
Mike Wheel getting by Jordan Booth. And the pace is just falling off tremendously for those 2 cars. Unfortunate to see they were really good up in front now. Big 3 wide for the lead here for 2nd now. Coming off of turn 4, and that was almost disaster there. Had that 59 of DeRugeris had not been clear.
24 and 41 heading for pit road now.
Yep.
We go.
DeRugeris and Parasini, or excuse me, Jordan Booth and Matt Parasini on pit road.
Yeah, definitely teammate strategy here. We'll see if the 20 will come down pit road as well. Right now, it's a battle of the Johns up in front, DeRugeris and Ledger. We'll see if DeRugeris can get it done tonight. He's going to try to look to the inside here in turn 1. Yes, he will. He's got it. John DeRugeris now finds himself in the lead at Charlotte.
John
Caution out.
Caution out.
Oh, caution out.
Bad timing for those guys on pit road.
They just got off, but they're coming out. They're coming out under.
One car on pit road. That's Matt Crockett.
I don't know what caused that. I don't know what brought out that caution.
Looks like Shane Trotter spun coming off pit road. That's what the caution was for. I think he just hit a bad bump.
There's that
Yeah.
notorious bump. We saw that earlier coming out of pit road.
Yeah, John Ledger caught that same one.
Wow.
Right there.
Yep, and if you've got your foot in the throttle, that back end gets light going over that bump, and you've got wheel in it, you've got throttle in it, and it's just going to whip on you.
So cars that are a lap down, looks like Ron Fitting may be out of this race. Cars that are a lap down right now, Richard Mills, Matt Crockett, Dakota LaRue, Matthew Parasini, Austin Walton, Jordan Booth, and Ron Fitting. Shane Trotter now goes 2 laps down after that incident he had. But up in front, it's DeRugeris. We'll see who's going to come down pit road here. Off turn 4 now.
Those guys all just got their lap back, it looks like.
Yep, this may be the last opportunity of the night to grab tires, and yep, it's everybody coming down pit road except 2, I believe. Maybe Dakota LaRue. No, excuse me. Who's going to take here? Looks like Richard Mills is one of those cars as well, and Garrett Walden. As well as Mike Wheel not going to take.
That is going to put 2 drivers up at the point who last pitted on lap 122 to be leading this field on the restart. They will be at a 35 lap deficiency on tires.
And DeRugeris got off pit road first. He beat out Ledger by half a car length. So we'll see what that'll mean for that 59 machine. He's hungry for a win. He knows he can run up front. He knows he can win this race. So we'll see what that 59 machine can do.
Their biggest concern would be those 2 drivers parked in front on this restart.
Yeah, you got your front row both with old tires. I mean, you've got almost 40 laps on those tires already. Everybody behind them on new tires, so they're not going to hold those top 2 positions very long. Let's just hope they don't cause a pileup.
I think they may have issued a black flag or an EOL to Shane Trotter.
Pace car put the lights back on. They're going to take 1 more pace lap.
So we'll look at this. They may, I'm not sure exactly. Right now I'm looking at a lot of cars. I only show 17 cars on the lead lap right now. Not sure how this is all going to play out. I do show that with that caution coming out, unfortunately those guys in the pits, Booth and Parasini, they're all lapped down. Walt, Crockett, Booth, Parasini, all lapped down.
You're right.
Well, that's kind of how it goes here in NASCAR. You know, just the timing of the race, you just never know. Well,
Take you
40
to your top
laps.
10 real quick. It's going to be Walden up in front. He'll be our lead car. And then it's going to be Mike Wheel to his outside. John DeRugeris and John Ledger, that's row number 2. That'll be your 3rd and 4th place cars. 5th and 6th is Lucas Gortman and Corey Ennis. And then Jacob Musow, Trace McDowell, and Tyler Lem, as well as Ty Bostic. That's your top 10 here. We'll go one more time around here for the pace car. And we're going to see how this is going to play out. They got a lot of good cars behind them. But I wouldn't count out the 2 Johns in row number 2, DeRugeris and Ledger. They've been really good all night long, and we'll see how they will deal with these 2 cars on older tires. Especially one battle we're going to have to keep our eye out on is between the 41 machine of Jordan Booth and Matthew Parasini. We're going to see how they can make their way back up front.
Yeah, they're both a lap down and pretty deep. They're not going to hit they've got other cars in front of them, LaRue, Crockett, and Walden, who would be next up for a lucky dog. That being said, you know, I'm also looking at that 16 of Gortman and that 99 of Lem. They were both strong early on. All right, about to find out.
Here we go.
Good jump by the 43 machine.
Yeah, it's an excellent jump by Walden to get up in front early. We'll see how that's going to play out for him.
He definitely needed that to happen. Unfortunately, what you see on that outside line is Mike Wheel fading back, kind of holding up that line.
Oh, contact. DeRuger is going to look to the inside here of the 43 machine. He's got it. John DeRuger is going to go to the lead here. Going to get by Garrett Walden. He's going to have the 16 machine of Lucas Gortman in tow. Just under 30 laps to go here. 40 laps to go, excuse me. And it's just starting to pick up.
John Ledger takes his...
going back up. Yeah, it goes up.
Big contact there.
Cuts him off.
Oh, no.
I don't know if he put a block
on. He's going to collect John Ledger, and the big one has struck here. Mike Wheel going to go around as well. Big contact for the 24 machine. Wow. And that just took things up.
Cautions.
A lot of good cars involved in that one.
DeRugis finds himself up in front. He's escaped that melee with Gortman, Musow, Walden, Trace McDowell. Ledger survives. Michael Whitley got collected. Let's see if we can go back and see just what happened here. We need to be a little bit farther up here. There we go. Let's back that up just a little bit. It came down just a little bit.
Yep.
'19 gets by. Well, a little bit of net code, but definitely some right side damage on that 19. 96 of Mike Wheel taps the back of the 27.
Yeah, that could have been far worse than it was.
Yeah, unfortunately, that has put John Ledger on pit road. Long pit stop trying to get repairs made. He may have gotten a meatball in that incident. Tough break for the 19. He has been up front all night long.
All long. Man, that's tough for him. His teammate, John DeRugeris, came out of that smelling like a rose. Here he is in P1.
Yep, with 36 laps to go. We'll probably be back at the restart with 34. But he'll have some tough competition tucked in behind him.
Yeah, it's like Parasini, Ennis on pit road, as well as Ledger Whitley, Michael Whitley coming off of pit road now. Just really unfortunate. A lot of good cars involved in that one. But this is going to present a new opportunity for DeRugeris to make his way up to the front. I mean, this could be his night. It'd be really good to see that 59 team to get one. He's going to have Jacob Musow, Lucas Gortman is outside and behind him, and Trace McDowell has found his way to the 4th spot. He's got a little bit of front end damage on that number 20 machine. We'll see how that'll work for him. Tyler Lem, Ty Bostic, Vince Burns, Scott Thomas, Bradley Reese, and Jeffrey Ramsdell. A lot of these names we haven't seen up in the top 10 all day long, and now they find themselves here after a lot of attrition. But John DeRugeris is going to be our control car.
At the restart, 34 laps to go to call this race done here at Charlotte. We thank you all for tuning in to the IWM broadcast of the iNRS Racing Series Coca-Cola 300. Appreciate all of you who have tuned in and stayed with us tonight. One thing you haven't missed, there's been a ton of action tonight. You can't say it was a boring race so far, that's for darn sure.
Jordan Booth working his way back up to towards the front of that lap down crowd. So he could find himself in position for a lucky dog if we get another quick yellow.
Here
Back
we go.
to green
Back
flag
underway.
racing.
DeRuger's a great jump there to get up in front, but Lucas Gorman is not going to give the lead up that easy. He's going to be chasing that number 59, and he obviously, you want a decent gap to that second place car, but Lucas Gorman is not one to give that up easy. He's going to look to the inside, can't quite get there. But this may be your battle for the win right here.
Two solid competitors between the 59 and the 16.
It's really interesting to watch those two cars and the lines they take through the corners. John's got a little bit of a defensive line to where he won't let the 16 get below him. He won't give him enough room, but he doesn't go clear to the bottom to give him a lot of space up top either.
Whereas a lot of drivers will downshift coming into one like that. Gorman just took his foot off the accelerator and just didn't leverage the transmission, just used the engine to slow that car down.
No, I think we're at that point in the race now where it's pretty much go time. DeRuger's goes
on the outside.
Way too low there. Here comes Lucas Gorman on the outside. We saw how good he was on the outside. Off of turn 2, DeRuger has got to clear that 16 machine. Down the back straightaway they come, side by side, door to door. DeRuger is now to the inside, trying to clear that 16. Almost clearing him, can't quite get there. Off of turn 4. Gorman just trying to hold on to that lead. DeRuger has a costly mistake there. And that may give Lucas Gorman the lead here. Contact between the two. Gorman clears. And the race is on.
30 laps left in this battle.
It is go time for these guys. They know it's coming to a close. And they know what's at stake.
Will a new driver punch his ticket into the playoffs? Lucas Gorman, he has already got himself a golden pass into the playoffs. DeRuger, Musso, Lem, Bostic, all in the hunt.
Lucas Gortman using all of that track right now that he's got a little bit of a buffer on John DeRugeris. Going clear down to the apron in the corner, then sliding clear up to the wall on the exit of the turn.
Ty Bostic got way out of line there going around the outside. Battle for the lead, heating up once again. DeRugeris, a big run there, couldn't quite get there to the inside quick enough. Gorman saw that and dropped down low immediately, not exactly where he wants to go.
But Musso and
DeRugeris
Lem,
may be faster.
right behind them, they're battling door to door, trying to get that third spot clear.
Yeah, Musso and Lem going at it. You can see the fireball coming out of those exhausts there of those two Mustangs. DeRuger's got way out of the gas, looking down into 3 and 4, falls back in line.
Now he goes to the outside. Doesn't like that, comes back down, following in the footsteps.
DeRuger is the faster car. He's going to look down on the inside, going into 1 and 2. We're going to have about 30 laps to go here. Now we're at 25. DeRuger is going to look back for the lead. Can he clear off a turn 2? Can't quite get there door to door. Way low for the 59.
16 has slightly
Oh,
better.
contact. Whew. Whoa.
Yeah,
It's like Parasini is out of this
John
race
up
as well.
a little bit, and he's in danger of losing. He just lost second, it looks like, in danger of losing third and fourth.
3 wide now, right
Wow.
there.
Oh, man.
He saw that 16 was a little loose. He backed out of it. Cost him some positions.
22 into the wall. Yeah, Bostic got in the wall there. And that's going to open up the door for Jacob Musow, who, like you guys said, was out of the playoffs coming into this race. Now he's got a chance to win his way into the playoffs. But don't count out Lucas Gortman up in front. But unfortunately, he is about 0.02 of a second slower than both Ty Bostic and Jacob Musow. So we'll see if any of these guys can pull it off.
Ty Bostic running the quickest of those leaders right now.
25 laps to go. 24 at the stripe.
Is heating up. And Lucas Gortman is watching his lead get smaller and smaller as Musow and Bostic are getting closer and closer. Look at Ty Bostic. Has run that outside like a champ so far these last 10 laps here. And he's not giving any room to Musow, so we'll see how that'll work out. And he's hooked up with his teammate in John DeRugeris. So we'll see how this is going to play out. This is getting interesting.
Yeah, 59 has recovered from that earlier bobble. Now he finds himself solidly in third.
Car on pit road, that's Austin Walton. Back up in front now. It's a battle, to say the least. Ty Bostic has found himself in second. He's got to deal with Lucas Gortman first if he wants that win. DeRugeris looking to the inside now. He's going to get to the door of Bostic. Off of turn 2 they come. They're going to be door to door. 16 goes low, tries to take the air off of the 59. That's another thing we've seen with this next-gen car is air blocking. You don't even have to be close to the guy behind you. You just need to mess his airflow up enough to slow him down about 4 or 5 miles an hour, and that means all the difference here at a track like Charlotte. 20 laps to go here at Charlotte.
Gortman, a prior winner, out in front with just 20 laps to go here in Charlotte. Everybody else behind, all the way back to 17th spot, hungry for a win.
Lucas Gortman's last lap time, 30.274. Ty Bostic's, 30.167. Bostic knows he's faster. The question is when can he get around Lucas Gortman? We know how much of a brick wall Lucas Gortman is and has been so far in this race. So we'll see what he can do.
Big contact behind with the 25, tagging the wall. 43 as well. And don't count out that a late caution will fly here. There's a lot of beating and banging happening back in this pack.
Yeah, a lot of racing still to go.
Then the big question is, if caution does come out, what do you do about tires? The leader's a sitting duck at that point. If he comes in, everybody else stays out.
I think everybody's coming in.
Yeah, if that happens, I would expect everybody to take tires, regardless of position, just to give everybody a chance here who's on the lead lap. But this is a close battle for the lead right here. You have about, I would say, 4 or 5 cars who I think could win this race, Ty Bostic being one of them. But I wouldn't count out the 99 of Tyler Lem. Up a good amount of spots here. Him and Musow have been battling at it most of the night. And the battle for second now heating up between Bostic and DeRugeris. A big launch from Jacob Musau, going to try to go low on the 20, on the 59, can't quite get there. And now the third place car is under fire. And a lap car coming up. That may play into this. That's Mike Wheel in the 96 machine. About 2 seconds slower. And they're coming up on him fast.
Be interesting to see. Does he hold his line? Does he get out of the way? Yeah, he's going down
we heard
the apron.
Stay low on the radio. Stay low. So no factor given.
Yeah,
and we're going to stay green.
Good sportsmanship on the behalf of the 96.
$16 out to a good lead now. He's got about a 3-car length lead over Ty Bostic in that 22.
We're down to 15 laps. 15 laps to go before we call this race. Lucas Gortman, your leader, previously winning here on the iNRS Racing Series, but number of hungry drivers stacked up behind.
Yep, DeRugeris just got by Bostic for second. Looks like Bostic has used his tires up, running that outside line. And this is going to open the door up now. DeRugeris was a 1/10 of a second faster last lap. Excuse me, 800ths of a second faster that last lap. So we're going to see, well, big contact with the wall. Jacob Musau down the back straightaway. And the 43 now coming into play. That's Garrett Walden making the pass for fourth. Excuse me, for third. Called to go.
43 takes
John
over
DeRuger is
third,
only 2/10 behind him now. 2/10 down,
Bostic,
13 laps to go.
Bostic slipping back a little bit further, now back to fourth. A lot of these drivers who were out front, they have burned up all their stuff. These guys were last in. Now, don't look back because that 43 of Walden has about 5 lap better tires than everybody else up front.
5 laps doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're at this stage of the race, it might be just enough.
We hear a lot of drivers, especially on short tracks, say, "Had I just had 5 more laps, I'd have got him. Just 5 more laps."
Yep.
Well, you've got 10 to do it here. Coming to 10 to go now. DeRugeris is as hungry as ever to get that win. Lucas Gortman's last lap time, 30.425. DeRugeris, 30.497. But behind them, Garrett Walden, 30.410, the fastest car out of these top 3. And he is making a charge. Looks like he saved his stuff up really well. And then number 43 machines come into the picture. Does he have enough time is the question.
Laps are ticking away. Just 10 laps to go.
Ty
10 more.
Bostic's dropped down to 5th now.
Yep, 10 more times around to crown the winner of the Coca-Cola 300 here in the iNRS Racing Series.
Things have calmed down up front now. Probably 4 car lengths between first and second and third. Guys can't buy their time too much longer. Down to 9 laps to go now.
Just looking at how far the 59's having to turn that wheel over. That car is pushing just a little bit. And he is.
And the tough part about that push.
Oh,
tough part about that push is you can't get back to the throttle as quickly, which means you lose speed on the straightaway.
DeRugeris has been consistently these last couple laps about 300ths of a second faster, and that all stacks up to about a 1/10 over these last couple laps here. 6 to go. Big wiggle from the 59 machine coming off turn 4. We'll see if the 43 has enough time. I wouldn't count out Garrett Walden for this one. He's got a little bit of ground to make up, but he has closed the gap very quickly on John DeRugeris here. Coming now to 6 laps remaining here in the Coca-Cola 300.
Yeah, second place is definitely in jeopardy. Walden is doing his best to chase him down.
Yeah, when I look at timing and scoring, he is just slowly losing on the gap. He's one little over a second, 1.2 seconds now.
Gordon's extending his lead a little bit here.
Yeah, he's pulling away from Derugeris. And a little bit from Garrett Walden. I mean, we're talking thousandths of a second, not big chunks, but he's certainly not losing to the second and third place cars. Lucas Gortman's out in front
by a lot now.
Yeah, slightly pulling away. 5 laps to go.
What he wanted to see.
Walden has nearly caught the 59, just about 4 or 5 car lengths. Oh, 59 tags the wall. You can tell these guys run older tires.
And
I think the field is spread out enough to where I don't think a caution would happen this early on. There's not a lot of really close battles happening. The only thing I could see being a caution is Booth and Trace McDowell, as I just watched them. Both of those cars got into the wall, so we'll see if those two will bring out a caution. But Gorman running away with it. 3 laps to go. We'll see if he can do it.
Yeah, he's increased his lead over John Derugeris and Garrett Walden by a couple tenths.
Derugeris trying to find a way to stay out in front of him with just 3 laps to go. It's going to be tough.
Yeah, the battle right now is for second and third at 59 and 43. Those cars are just battling it out. You can see it getting even closer now.
43's got a good run here. But John's got an advantage, just he's got clean air.
Yeah. And that's what's keeping him out in front right now. And I think he's trying to keep his car in front of Garrett Walden so he can throw some dirty air his way.
White flag. Lucas Gortman. One more time around.
Can Derugeris hold off Walden and keep on second? That's the biggest battle right now for the podium.
Yeah, it'll be a good points day for Derugeris for sure, as well as the 43 of Walden. But Lucas Gortman found his way in the latter half of this race, the latter 50 laps. That number 16 machine came on strong for IRFK. Lucas Gortman wins the Coca-Cola 300 here at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Oh,
Walden gets by him for second.
Oh, boy.
Wow. At the line. Coming off of turn 4, a big wiggle from Derugeris. And what a race we had at Charlotte.
Yeah, the guys up front congratulating each other on keeping it clean. Boy, look at that car. That 59 gets sideways. That's what cost him.
Yep.
Great replay there.
And there's your top 3. Gortman. Right. Walden, Derugeris. What a race.
All right, results are in. Lucas Gortman wins the Coca-Cola 300. Garrett Walden is in second. John Drugis finishes in third. Jacob Uso fourth. Tyro Lem in fifth. Ty Bostic in sixth. Vince Burns in seventh. Richard Mills in eighth. Bradley Reese in ninth. And Jeff Ramsdell in 10th.
11th, we've got Matt Crockett. 12th is Joe Mossow. 13th, Michael Whitley Jr., followed by Trace McDowell, Scott Thomas in 15th, Dakota LaRue in 16th, John Ledger 17th, Jordan Booth in 18th, Ron Fitting in 19th, and Michael Wheel in 20th.
Orianis is going to be in the 21st spot. Austin Walton, 22nd. Shane Trotter, 23rd. Matt Parasini, 24th. Lucas Whitehead, 25th. Austin Wheeler, 26th. And Christopher Cash in 27th. That rounds out your 2025 Coca-Cola 300 here at Charlotte. And Lucas Gortman, by 2 seconds, he pulled away at the end. And finally, he gets to pull off a crown jewel.
Well, let's go ahead and speak with our drivers here who are trying to find.
They're all in the press room, looks like.
They are. I'm trying to work them.
Yeah.
Guys, for some reason, I don't have the ability to move them into the... something has changed on Discord. Can you move them into the...
Oh. No, I can't get him up there either.
Well, here's what we're going to do. Let's if Mohammed can't come to the mountain, let's actually move ourselves down into the press room lobby and chat from there.
Okay. You, because for some reason Discord wouldn't allow us to bring you up into the broadcast booth.
All right, so John, let's just all work together here. John, congratulations on your third place finish, man. I know that was bittersweet towards the end there.
Yeah, a little bittersweet. Looked at the replay, saw the 43 kind of getting to my right rear off the 4, and tried to keep it underneath us, so couldn't wreck. I didn't want to wreck him, so I was trying to save the heck out of the car, and thank goodness we both brought it home in one piece. I mean, what a run from him coming back up through the field on those fresher tires. I mean, I knew it was going to be close to the end, but yeah, great run for him, great run for me, and shout out to Lucas on a good win.
John, I'm sure it's going to be a good points day for you for the playoffs here. You know, your situation was a little bit tough coming into tonight, but you come out with a decent amount of points here, obviously finishing third, a good finishing position in the first stage break. How does it feel to come out of Charlotte with a good amount of points here?
It feels good. The last couple of mile and a half, I've been really trying to figure out how I can run the races. And this race, I tried a little bit of a different strategy, and it played out. So it's exciting to build the consistency up and finish up in the top 3, and hopefully carry this momentum into next week, and hopefully maybe get a win and not have to worry about points so much, and worry about fighting for a championship.
John, any shout-outs tonight?
Absolutely. Of course, Jeff and you all in the booth, and Rick, of course, Noah. And also want to shout out everybody watching at home. Everybody at ATYL Media, gonna say that there. My friend Chad, Lorraine, gotta say my wife Sophia, my grandfather-in-law, Pop's watching, anybody else who's also tuning in. And shout out to Garrett there. What a move at the end. I gotta say, that was pretty phenomenal, and you'll have to go back and look at what my in-car looked like there, Garrett, because I was trying everything to keep it going forward in the line.
And with that, Garrett, welcome and congratulations to your second place finish. I mean, obviously you saw, you had Lucas in your windshield out there, really got a gap between you guys, but the battle for those last 5 to 10 laps was between you and DeRudris. Tell us a little bit about your thoughts as those laps were winding down.
Well, I mean, it was a tough fight to begin with. I got that in that early wreck early on in the race. Had some damage, threw some cautions, was able to get it fixed. And I just kept telling myself, just pace yourself, run your race. People might burn their stuff up. Just be there at the end. I just kept, telling myself that. You just be there at the end. That's what matters. And as the laps started coming down, I stayed out for that one caution, got lucky with a quick one. And I came in and got tires. Granted, the ones in front of me only had 4 or 5 laps older, but I was like, again, be patient, run your race, just be there at the end. And it just kind of came together. I was hooking up good on the bottom, running good. Guys were still we were all really racing clean, and I was just able to hook up to it. I saw John. I was like, I can get to him, but I didn't think I could get to Lucas. My tires were already coming through the field. Were already kind of not shot, but not good enough to get around both of them. But I mean, it was just great racing at the end with John, and we kept it clean. And I mean, I know he went to the bottom to stop the run that I had, and I just put it on the top. It just almost Hail-Mary. I was like, either I'm gonna die here or finish third, and I'm happy with both.
Well, congratulations on your second place finish for sure.
Garrett, we saw there at the end, we didn't talk about you a lot early on in this race, but that number 43 machine came on really strong there in those last 50 laps there. What was the secret to get that 43 up to second?
A lot of it, I did a lot of practice, well, not a lot, but some practice this week of just saving the tires over the course of a long run, especially in the day to night transition. And then when you get to night, holding on to the, what you have. And I just paced myself, didn't overdrive it, took care of the tires. And like I said, keep telling myself, be there at the end. That's what matters. It's just being there at the end. And by doing that, it really helped me, catch up to the guys up front where I knew I was quick, and I just had to be there, and that's all that mattered.
Well, congratulations on your second place finish. Any shout outs tonight?
Yeah, well, shout out my mom, who's probably watching. Shout out all of our armed forces, the ones in my family, the ones in all of yours, everyone knows. Thank them for all they do, because this, we're going into Memorial Day with the 600. It's all about them. It's all about thanking them for everything they've done for us. Shout out my team. I know Matt Piracini, he got caught up in that wreck. Mike Will, Jordan Booth, and the FTM guys. Most of them couldn't be here tonight because they're actually at the Indy 500 this weekend. And then to any of the other guys, I was racing. All the clean guys, John, Lucas, we all raced clean. Tyler, all these guys, we all raced clean. It was just great fun for those last 40 laps.
Congratulations. And now the man of the hour who has patiently waited all this time, Lucas, congratulations on your win here in Charlotte.
Man, this was a race. I mean, running 300 miles, 200 laps here, I had an up and down race. Qualified 9th, fell back like 16th or something. And then, like Garrett said, you got to be there at the end. I was, pushing sometimes, trying to save tires at others. But once you got through the clean air, I felt confident. The track got cooler as it got darker, and then just had to save tires. And then I knew I had to keep John behind me. So I was doing anything I could, run the top, and he's running the top, kind of predict where he's going to be, give him that dirty air. Because I knew if he passed me, that was it. So I had to keep the clean air, because if I had the clean air, I could save the tires better and just run my race. And thankfully, it all worked out like that. No cautions on that last run, and it just kind of all fell. The dominoes all fell together. And I'd said every time I'm in here, when I win a cup race, I win the Xfinity race the day before, and it happened again. So I just need to keep doing good in Xfinity, I guess, if I want to be up here in Cup.
That's win number 3 on the season for you. Obviously, you're in a pretty good spot in the playoffs as of right now. You're now tied with Austin Wheeler for wins. How does it feel to be up front consistently? You dipped in and out a little bit there on us in those intermittent stages and those green flag runs that we had, but in the end you found your way up to the front. What was the key strategy to just find your way back up front tonight?
It's kind of you want to have a balance of saving tires, but at the same time you don't want to save too much and fall back, because passing in these cars is difficult when you get stuck behind someone, dirty air, guys in front of you side by side. So you have to kind of manage how much you want to push and how much tire you want to use compared to how much you want to save and how much track position you want to lose. And kind of just learned that I knew I wanted to be in the top 5. If I fell anywhere further back than that, it was going to be a struggle. And I learned that before that, like last pit stop I made. I fell back to 9th and worked my way back up to 3rd, but I burned my tires real bad. Like, they were destroyed. So I was really thankful for that caution, take that last set and drive away. But it was, all in all, it was an eventful race, but come home with a victory, it's awesome.
Any shout outs tonight as we close out the interview?
Oh yeah, you guys for broadcasting. Thank you guys, all the admins in the league, all the like Garrett said, all the clean drivers out there, and everyone who raced me clean and has puts on a good race. My fiance, she's watching currently right now. Any of my friends and family that's also watching. My teammates, back row sim racing, IRFK, Tyler, Jeff, Keith, Jordan, all those guys, and it was just a great race, and just thank everybody.
You got it. Well, guys, that was it was as much fun as I'm sure they had on the track. It was a blast in the booth tonight for sure.
It really was. I'll tell you one of the things that really impressed me tonight. It was a long race. It was difficult, but like we talked about at the beginning, guys had to stay focused, and you could tell from all three of these drivers had their thought process going clearly and going well the whole way through the race. They were thinking ahead. They were thinking about what they needed to do and when they needed to do it. And that really impressed me.
Yeah, this is a type of race and a type of race track that just makes you think throughout the whole thing. There really is no time to rest during long run races like this. So obviously we saw the the cogs turning and the clocks ticking for a lot of these drivers in this field, but all in all, it ended up being a great race. We had some very chaotic moments, but all in all, in the end, it turned out to be possibly one of the biggest blockbusters of the season so far.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, from the guys here up in the booth and all the folks in tech and IWM and our broadcast network, we thank you all for tuning in tonight. We congratulate Lucas on his win here in Charlotte. And next week here on Thursday, we will find ourselves at Nashville Super Speedway for the Ally 200. That'll be brought to you by Averett Express here in the iNRS Racing Series, and we hope to see all of you there, and should be a great race. All right, folks, thanks for tuning in, and have a great night. Good night.